I have to say, this thing is so cool. Alright, let's start this experiment. I already glued a lot of gold glitter on my lure, and then I clear coated it a few times so it gets a nice and even surface again, or it's not perfectly even, but I think it's good to go anyway. I sanded it off a little so that all the gold glitter is sticking out, which gives a little bit of a sharp edge or point that sticks out. Is sanded down a little, so now it's time to paint our lure. And I will be just painting this one along the way. I don't really have an idea how I'm gonna paint this one, or even what kind of effects we're gonna achieve. We're gonna wing it. First of all, I'm gonna put random pieces of tape everywhere to get like these kind of jagged edges. I don't want anything to be nice and straight on this lure, you know. And here and there I want some of the pure gold to shine through as well. I do want to paint this lure in a kind of a natural scheme, I think. The good thing is when you epoxy your lure before the next paint, then you can always wipe it off. I probably am going to rub it out a little bit more on the bottom, but we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Right, first we're gonna spray some white. I might end up doing a big part of the lure with a black base coat afterwards, I think, but at least the belly's gonna be white. Right, now we get some black, and everywhere when I want to do a scaling effect, I'm gonna put a black base on, about 20 psi. Of course, I want scales on the top, want scales on the belly, alright, like so. And now, if I basically already remove the tapes that I want on the body, I do actually want this one to be there still, so we're gonna fix that soon enough. So if we take a little tweezer now, and we already remove all the pieces. Here I'm gonna take one from lure blanks. So first we're gonna take white again. I'm gonna take Vallejo Dead White. It's a super easy paint. It's ideal for these small touches you're gonna do. And then everything that is black is gonna get white scales. And then the trick is, I also paint a little bit of white scales on top of the gold everywhere. Not everywhere, but a little bit irregular. So we only have a little bit of gold left. We covered all the black, and around all the black we did a little bit of extra white on the gold. You'll soon see why we did this. It's gonna give a really nice and beautiful effect. Just making sure nothing is too dark. A little bit of irregularity is always appreciated. Now I'm gonna take some sepia. Alright, we got our sepia. I'm just gonna dust a little bit on the underside of the belly, just to give it a little bit of a dirty belly look. I always like that. Now to all the black and whites, I am gonna do some random darkening with some sepia first. Alright, and now with moss green we're gonna cover everything again except for the gold that we don't want to be covered, but also the white that is on top of the gold. The reason I sprayed some sepia brown here and there is to make that will be darker when you spray moss green on top of it. And now this is the effect what we got. I don't know if the camera is gonna pick that up without clear coat. It could be that we need a clear coat first before you will see the result, but the thing is that now you see a lot of these scales that are very clear on there because of the black underground, but you also have the green scales on top of the gold which have no black in between, so it looks like they're fading out into the gold, and that is the effect that we were trying to get. So we actually got rid of most of the sharp lines we had, and now basically everything is smoothened up because we made a smooth transition from the scales with black in between to scales with gold on the background and then towards the gold, which looks pretty nice. Remove a little of the overspray if you want to. So this actually starts to look like some kind of bass pattern, I would say. But we don't have bass in these waters, so I'll probably make a kind of a pike out of this, because green and gold, that's what a pike looks like. So it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be nice. Alright, let's move on to the head. No, actually I didn't make a mistake. Somehow black came underneath the piece of tape there. That's where the black line comes from. Right, so now we got all these sharp edges again. But no worries, we still got moss green in our chamber. Now I'm doubting a little bit. Maybe I should come back with white first on top of this, just to make the gill plates visible again. Use some white here on the gill plates and around the edges to soften the edges from the gold to the green, because they are too sharp. Then I have to go over that with green again, but yeah, that's how it will be then. We're gonna mark the gill plates a little bit white so they stand out from the body again, because now they're too much blended in. Also I'm gonna spray over all the sharp lines of where the tape was. Right, so now it looks really super weird, but we're gonna fix that now. Gonna take our moss green again, and we're covering all the white again. So now we got an irregular head with some gold in there, but no sharp edges anymore. So that looks way better if you ask me. Now it's time for the pike pattern on there. So we're gonna try to keep it really simple. Right, let's see a juvenile pike and try to freehand the same pattern. First the head, one line underneath the head. That looks way too straight. Let's see if we can still clean this up. I'm afraid not. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not pleased with this, but gotta keep on going now. It's okay, I would say, but not like wow either. Okay, I can start to live with this. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Now maybe the most difficult part. Those lines. Those white lines over the body, free-handed. Right, so now we're gonna do the back, and as I can see, there goes a white line. Right, this starts to look good now. Really like how this tiny little pike is gonna turn out actually. I'm gonna clean up one more time a little bit of the gold. Like that. Looking good. Really clean. Now there's one last thing I want to do, because on one of my reference pictures there was a little bit of kind of a turquoise shine on top of the scales, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a color shift. I'm gonna try to dust it on there just a little bit to give it a little bit of yeah, some color shift paint in there, because that's cool and it's fun to do. So I'm taking a Vallejo color shift paint turquoise violet, because I know this works on a dark green background as well. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out for sure, guys. How I experiment with all of the color shift paints of Vallejo. Well, one set, not all of them. I'm trying out one set. Well, all the rules apply for all of them. Then you get this kind of effect, which is really cool. But just, we're gonna subtle dust it on there, just a tiny little bit. There we go, a little bit of a color shift on there as well. Alright, we're also gonna put a fin on it, maybe even two. So I'm taking Vallejo white again, because it's quick and easy. And I'm taking now the small fins stencil from Lure Blanks. Now you can cut this into pieces, so you can easily move around with the one fin that you want to do. But right now I don't need to cut it, so I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna place a little fin. So I'm gonna go for this fin. Just hold the stencil in place. I scratched the belly a little bit, so there is some gold shining through again. Gonna fix that with just some white. And because of the sepia brown and you get the scales that are fading, it kind of looks like a pike with a fat belly. It makes it all look a little bit more round, just because the scaling are going, they are fading in different color as well, a darkish brown, which I really like the effect. Right, so now a pike also has two fins towards the end, like sticking out here somewhere, and then you got the tail fins and everything, or maybe here the tail fins and here the two little side fins. And the cool thing about this stencil is you actually have kind of side fins you can use as well. You can use this one, which is a little wider. You can use a very small one, which is very straight. But I think I'm going to go for this one, and then try to give a little bit of a natural under fin as well on this one, just for fun. You know, it's not gonna make you catch any more fish or anything, but it's pretty. I like pretty. Like so. Two little fins on the underside. Oh, nice. Now we're gonna give these fins a little bit of a color. We just align them again. I like to do it like this. Make the core a little darker than the outside. I am using sepia brown and not orange because I don't see a lot of pike with orange fins actually. And I believe sepia brown is the ideal natural color for this. Right, so since we're going all the way on this lure anyway, we're also gonna put some fin beams on our fins. Masking tape on. It's also a good way if you feel like you're doing overspray on other fins. You can always cover them with a little bit of masking tape if they're in the way. Like so, that makes it a little easier for me. So now we're gonna take black magenta, and I just do one drop of this. And now I do 2 drops of 40-30 and a little bit of thinner, 1 drop, so that my black magenta even becomes a little bit more transparent than it usually is. So you can do this really fine, subtle detailing. Because if you're using normal black, there is no way of making it more transparent unless you have a transparent black. But even that has still quite a heavy particle, so it doesn't, well, it's a very heavy color. And if you make a mistake with that black, it's gonna be very clear to see. It's really hot. It's really difficult to hide that. And if you're using black magenta, which is actually not a black, it's gonna be much more subtle. You got much more control over it, and if you do make a mistake, it's not like a really heavy black dot or other mistake on there. It's a big difference. I'm gonna align our stencil. Nice, cute little fin. Now you can do 2 things. You can either make a dark spot here or a lighter spot. That's up to you what you prefer. In this case, I think this lure already has a lot of white and brighter spots, so I'm gonna put a darker spot there. And it just makes it all connect together. We're also gonna turn around our lure to do a little bit of shadow on the small fins. Now there's only one thing left to do, and that's put the right eyes in it. Okay guys, the lure is almost finished. We're gonna put on some eyes now. These are the new eyes from Lure Blanks. They are available in a few different colors, in 3 different sizes. It's 8, 10 and 12 millimeters. In quite some different colors actually. A lot of options there. I have to say these are absolutely stunning. These are glass bead eyes and they are beautiful. So let's put them on. I think these are gonna look great on this pattern. They're not really natural, but they're not too unnatural that they will stick out of the lure either. So I think these will fit just great on there. Oh yeah, that is so cool. When we have clear coated this a few times, this is going to be beautiful. That is such a cool lure. It's a beautiful eye too. A really nice pattern. And I love these glass bead eyes because they are very thick, so they stick out of the lure and you get this like 3D shaped feeling around the lure as well, and I really love that. So that is so nice. Just put some super glue on there and I make sure I put them exactly where I want them to be. Yup, that's it. This is so cool guys. I just cannot wait to put some clear coat on this. And the eye, I really love the eye. These glass bead eyes are really pretty. Unbelievable. Oh yeah. This is a beautiful lure. I just cannot stop looking at it. It's never happened to me before. This is the first time. The first time I'm actually that pleased with my own painting. I gotta make more of these. That's also the first time I say that about a color pattern. So guys, the lure is finished. And I have to say, this thing is so cool. I really love the pattern. I also really like the color shift that's on the scales. And yeah, the eyes just really complete this lure. They have such a nice 3D effect. They are really cool. So overall, everything, even the belly, it's really nice on this one. It turned out really cool. Love it. So let's have one more look at this lure. Because it is so pretty. And for me, the color shift right now is purple. But I guess on the camera it will be turquoise. But that's so cool about this lure. The color shift still works even on the dark green. It adds a really cool feature to the lure. I really like that. And also the eyes. I love the eyes. They are mesmerizing. I think they're so cool. I really like the way they stick out of the bait on two sides. It's really nice. I will leave a link in the description below with all the items that I used. Make sure you go to our web shop and check out those really cool new eyes, because I think they are really the icing on the cake, you know, on any paint job. It really upgrades any lure. They are really cool. And if you have any questions or you have a painting challenge for me, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.